Good day everyone, I am Mary Joy Ramos and I will discuss the research on the market and the industry. Before I discuss my topic, I will give a recap on the previous lecturer's topic, which is the management. It includes the mission and vision of the company, the goals, the organizational structure, the total number of employees, the major owners, the board of directors, and the executive officers of the company. Proceeding to my topic, my learning outcome is to be able to write a survey on the market and the industry, to know the methods of the sampling methods, and to determine what is the slowing formula. So a survey on the market and the industry should describe the market environment of the entity and its position in the market. So the market. A formal survey of the industry where the entity is operating and the condition of the market must be done first. Using the rudiments of the research, the survey must be able to gather generalizations about the demands for the products and services offered by the subject entity, the competitors, the market share, and, in extreme cases, the market gap analysis, the characteristics of the market, the suppliers and the supply, the annual sales, and the overall performance of the industry for the next 5 years. This section talks about the overall performance of the entity in its market and the industry. How does a company able to operate amidst its factors affecting the industry, and what makes the company greater than its competitors. The coverage of the survey will depend upon the areas reached or served by the entity. It could be localized or broad. So in localized industry analysis happens when the entity is just operating in a particular identified area and has no operations elsewhere. In case of the localized, the proponent shall include as respondents of the survey all the entities that offer the same product or services with the subject entity in a particular locality and their customers. So on the other hand, broad industry analysis happens when the products and services are offered nationwide or worldwide, or the entity is operating nationwide or worldwide. Use of sampling method may be applied after the determination of the total number of companies or population per area has been established. Now, let's proceed in sampling. Sampling. It is a selecting a particular group or sample to represent the entire population. Reducing the number of individuals can make it easier to obtain a high quality of information, but it has to be balanced against having a large enough sample size. So, we have two different techniques in sampling, the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. With the probability sampling, is a sampling techniques in which the subject of the population gets an equal opportunity to be selected as a representative sample. In the non-probability sampling, it is a method of sampling wherein it is not known that which individual from the population will be selected as a sample. The difference between the non-probability sampling and the probability sampling is that with the non-probability sampling, it does not involve any random selection, and the probability sampling does. The researchers may prefer the probability sampling over the non-probability sampling because it is more accurate. There are 5 different methods under the probability sampling: the stratified, the systematic, the simple, the cluster, and the multi-stage sampling. The first method is the simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is the easiest method of probability sampling. The researchers must ensure that all members of the population should be included in the master list. Also, in simple random sampling, it is time-consuming when creating large samples. The second method is the stratified random sampling. It is also referred to as proportional random sampling. The subjects are initially grouped into different classifications such as gender, level of education, or socioeconomic status. It is important to note that this classification should not have any overlapping subject. This method of probability sampling is best used when the goal of the research is to study a particular subgroup within a greater population. It also results in more precise statistical outcomes than the simple random sampling. Another method is the cluster random sampling. It is conducted when the size of the population is too large to perform in a simple random sampling. The primary advantage of a cluster random sampling is it is convenient and easy to use. Its disadvantages is the members of clusters are not homogeneous in nature, the researchers will end up with less accurate data. The last method is the multi-stage sampling. It involves a combination of 2 or more of the probability sampling methods above. There are four methods under the non-probability sampling. It is the convenience sampling, the quota sampling, the judgment sampling, and the snowball sampling. The first method under the non-probability sampling is the convenience sampling. It is perhaps the easiest method of sampling because the participants are selected based on the availability and willingness to take part. The useful results can be obtained, but some results are prone to bias. The second method under the non-probability sampling is the quota sampling. The researchers ensure that equal or proportionate representation of subject depending on which trait is considered as basis of the quota. For example, if the basis of the quota is a college year level and the researchers needs an equal representation of a sample size of 100, he must select 25 students from the first year, 25 students from the second year level, 25 students from the third year, and 25 students from the fourth year. The basis of the quota are usually from age, race, gender, education, religion, and socioeconomic status. Another method is the judgment sampling. A judgment sampling is an extension of convenience sampling. The researcher selects the sample based on judgment. For example, a researcher may decide to draw an entire population with one representative city, even though the population should include all the cities. When using this method, the researcher must be confident that the chosen sample is truly part of a population or the entire population. The last method of the non-probability sampling is the snowball sampling. This method is commonly used in social sciences when investigating hard-to-reach group. Existing subjects are asked to nominate further subjects known to them so the sample increases in size like a rolling snowball. Snowball sampling can be effective when a sampling frame is difficult to identify. However, by selecting friends and acquaintances of subjects already investigated, there is a significant risk of selection bias. Let us now proceed in sample size. Sample size. It is a measure of number of individual samples measured or observation used in a survey or experiment. It is usually represented by the variable n, and having a large sample sizes are needed for statistics to be accurate and reliable. Also, the total number of population being studied must be considered, the margin of error must be considered, the confidence level, and the standard deviation. Proceeding to Slovene formula, it is used to calculate an appropriate sample size from a population. It is formulated by small letter n is equals to capital N divided by 1 plus NE times 2, where small letter n is the number of samples, capital N is the total population, and E is a margin of error. So when we will use the Slovene formula, it is used when nothing about the behavior of a population is known at all. Statistical tools and various research rudiments must be employed in this part. So in a nutshell, the research on the market and the industry describe the market environment and its position in the market. The coverage of the survey will depend upon the areas reached by the entity. It could be localized or broad. In sampling method, there are two techniques. The probability sampling method and the non-probability sampling method. And that ends my discussion. Thank you.